So Unit 9 is all about 3D geometry, and what that means is we're going to be working with 3D shapes, so like a rectangular prism, cube, a sphere, a pyramid, cylinder, cone, and so on. So first thing we need to know though is how to convert measurements. So common conversions you need to know are these. These are given on your reference table on your Common Core exam. So all of these are on your reference table. I suggest that when you take the exam, you just rip it out and put it right next to your test so you have it when you need it. So the first example we're going to do is it's going to convert 3 meters to inches. So if I look, I see that I know that 1 meter is 39.37 inches. So to convert 3 meters, what I do is I put 3 meters on the top. I put it over 1. What I do next is I multiply. The rule is whatever sign or whatever measurements on the top, it must go on the bottom in the next fraction. So I know meters has to go here. Well, since there's a conversion from meters to inches, I can just go 2 inches right away. So 1 meter is equal to 39.37 inches. Now, sometimes you're going to have to add another fraction and multiply, okay? But here, my end goal was to get 2 inches, and I have that here, so I don't have to add any more fractions. So what I do now is in my calculator, I'm going to do 3 times 39.37. When I do that, I get 118.11 inches. So that is my final answer. So we're using the process of multiplication to convert my measurements. Let's try another one. So it says convert 204 fluid ounces to gallons. So if I look up here, I see fluid ounces are right here. I want to end up at gallons though. So there's no straight conversion. So I'm going to have to use all of these into a fraction. So, rule is you start with what they give you. 204 fluid ounces. I put that over 1. Now remember, my next rule is that whatever on this top has to go on this bottom. So if I look at my conversion chart, I'm going to pop back up here. I know that 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. So I'm going to use that conversion. So 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So that means that fluid ounces are done. Now I have a cup. Well, a cup's not a gallon, so I have to keep going. So I know I have to put my cup down here. So now I have my cup on top, cup on bottom. That means they're going to cancel. And let's look at the next conversion. So I know that 2 cups is equal to 1 pint. So I'm going to use that. So 2 cups is equal to 1 pint. So since I have cup on the top and cup on the bottom, those can cancel. Okay, well, a pint's still not a gallon, so I have to keep going. So now I do pint on the bottom. Go back to my conversion chart. I next see that 2 pints is equal to 1 quart. Okay, so I'm going to use that. 2 pints is equal to 1 quart. Well, a quart's still not a gallon, but at least my pints cancel. So now I have to keep going. So I have to put quart on the bottom. If I look, I see that 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. So 4 of these are equal to 1 gallon. Well, I wanted to end up with gallon, and my quarts cancel. So I'm done. So now I just have to multiply. So how we multiply this is we look at our top. So I have 204 times 1 times 2 times 2 times 1. So that would be like 204 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. On the bottom then, I have 1, then times 8 times 2 times 2 times 4. So 1 times 8 times 2 times 2 times 4. So in your calculator, you can just put that whole thing, 204 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, and then divide it by 1 times 8 times 2 times 2 times 4. What you're going to get then is your answer. So we're going to get 1.59375 gallons. So that's how you do it if they don't have a conversion right away. We had to go through a couple of them. So you just have to use this chart and know how to use it. Let's try another one. Given a square has a length of 6 feet, find the area of the square in centimeters. So because they give you that each side has 6 feet, because we know that a square has all equal sides, I can choose to convert before or after I can find the area. So I know that each side is 6 feet. The area of a square is length times width. So I get to convert before or after I find the area. So I'm going to convert after. So area equals length times width. Well, here the area is equal to 6 feet times 6 feet. So area equals 36 feet. Now, they want it in centimeters though. So let me look at this conversion up here. So I can't find anything that says that 1 foot is equal to so many centimeters. However, I do see that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. Well, now you have to ask yourself, how many inches are in a foot? So that's one conversion you need to know offhand. How many inches are in a foot? Answer, 12. So we start off 36 feet over 1. Feet have to go on the bottom now in order for feet to cancel. So there's 1 foot in 12 inches. Well, that's still not centimeters, so I have to keep going. Inches goes on the bottom. I know that in 1 inch there's 2.54 centimeters. So those cancel. So then I just multiply across. So I have 36 times 12 times 2.54 over 1 times 1 times 1. Plug that into your calculator and you're going to get 1097.28 centimeters squared. So the reason it's square is because your area is squared. So remember, when you do like a foot times a foot, it gives you a foot squared. So therefore your answer is this. Okay, let's try 2 more. So a rectangle has a length of 5 feet and a width of 9 inches. What is the perimeter to the nearest 10th yard? So notice how in this one it says 5 feet and then it says 9 inches, unlike this one which just said each side 6 feet. So because there's different measurements to start with, what we have to do is we have to convert ahead of time. So it gives me a rectangle with a length of 5 feet and a width of 9 inches. So it wants us to convert to yards. So I'm going to do that right away. Well, let's start with 5 feet. 5 feet over 1, well, feet have to go on the bottom now. So how many feet are in 1 yard? That's not on your sheet up above, so that's another one you need to know. There's 3 feet in 1 yard. So I can cross cancel, and I'm going to be left with 5 over 3 yards. Now I'm going to do the inches one. So I have 9 inches over 1. Well, there's no conversion for inch to yard that I can think of, so I'm going to use my inch to feet and then feet to yard. So there's 12 inches in 1 foot, so I can cross off inches, and then we know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard, so I can cross off feet. So when I do that, it would be 9 times 1 times 1 over 1 times 12 times 3. Plug that into your calculator and you get 0.25 yards. So now instead of using 5 feet and 9 inches, we're going to be using 5/3 yards and then 0.25 yards. So what it wants me to do is find the perimeter. So perimeter means you add up all the sides. Well, remember in a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent. So this is also 0.25 and then this one is 5/3. So your perimeter then would be 5/3 plus 5/3 plus 0.25 plus 2.5. So I want you to plug that into your calculator. You're going to end up with a decimal. You're going to get 3.83 repeating. And then you can also hit math, fraction, and then hit enter, and you would get 23/6 yards. So since it says nearest tenth, we're going to round this one. So that would be 3.8 yards. And that would be my final answer. So your homework tonight, or if you're doing this during the day, today, is the next 5, okay? So that's the practice.